This is absolutely absurd, and it's 100% a betrayal to what MAGA was supposed to be when we voted in 2024, and it's turned into some perverted, deranged version of MAGA now that nobody wants. And a lot of people are just like, this doesn't make sense. And I'll go further, Pamela. We love our military, and God bless the men and women serving, and we love their families, and we do not want to see flag-draped coffins coming home in a war that does nothing for our own homeland. And then I want to add on something else. How insulting is it to Americans that the GOP can't even fund Homeland Security right now, our own government that protects our own homeland, while they're waging some war like 6,800 miles away in a country that none of us have ever been to, against a foreign people that none of us know, killing many of these people, even to the point of killing their children. It's just absolutely absurd.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Somebody I liked there for a while, you know? It's a darn shame that people can change so quickly. And you know what I found interesting? Is that even AOC exposed at least one of the reasons why Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing all of this. And if you don't believe me, y'all know I come with the clips, baby. I come with the clips. Check it out.
Here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since.
Straight out of AOC's mouth, you know? And that has been one of the rumors for a while, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate and went to Trump asking for help, and he told her hell no. And ever since, she's been on this rampage of saying just absolute nonsense. Can't believe the GOP doesn't fund the DHS. You know good and almost cursed. You know good and darn well it is Democrats that have chosen to defund the Department of Homeland Security because they don't like what ICE is doing. ICE is funded. ICE is funded until the end of Trump's term. This ain't got nothing to do with Republicans or the GOP. This is everything to do with the Democrats because they wanted to try to force Republicans to reform ICE because they know they can't take any funding away from ICE because ICE is already fully funded until the end of Trump's term. ICE is funded until 2029. 2029, fully funded. And if you don't believe me, you can look this stuff up, right? I ain't talking out of the side of my neck. So for her to get on CNN, a network that has never, how many times, I want to ask y'all a question, a genuine question. How many times have you seen Marjorie Taylor Greene on CNN or MSDNC? How many times did you see her on either one of those networks before she went on this rampage? I'll wait. Like never. And now all of a sudden she's all over them. All over them. Wall-to-wall coverage. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Look at this. Oh my goodness. I think she even went on The View. Yeah, The View with Sunny Holston and Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg and the crew. Yeah, she went on that show. How many times have you seen her on there before she went on this rampage? Exactly. And now she's getting up. Oh, man. I got to play a couple of clips for y'all. One being a clip from NBC, who went to Pennsylvania expecting to see and hear something totally different than what they actually got. And then I'm going to play one final clip for y'all in closing, because I think it fully encapsulates exactly how I feel. All right? Let's hop into this NBC clip. Make sure you guys smack that like button and subscribe if you are new. Let's jump into it.
We're down lower than we've been in 7 years in gasoline prices and oil prices, not just the 3 states that I talk about with $1.99 a gallon. How would you like to have $1.99? You know, that's the equivalent of a very major tax cut.
Welcome back. Now, that was President Trump in Pennsylvania back in December, touting low energy and gas prices. Today, the average price for a gallon of gas in Pennsylvania is $3.76, according to AAA. That's higher than last week, and it's up more than 60 cents from a month ago. NBC News senior national politics reporter John Allen has been speaking with Pennsylvania voters. He's been...
I also find it funny how, all of these Democrats and mainstream media and these rhinos want to talk about gas prices all of a sudden so much now, when none of them had anything to say when gas prices were absolutely bonkers under the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris administration. Because one thing that they also aren't mentioning is, yeah, sure, gas prices are up right now, and yet they're still lower than where Joe Biden had them at all-time highs. They don't want to talk about that, but carry on.
Out kind of on a road trip here in Millersburg, about 25 miles north of Harrisburg. He joins me now. And John, I understand you're sort of in a Trump supportive part of Pennsylvania, and there are a lot of those in Pennsylvania. What are you hearing about how people there are feeling about gas prices, and are they factoring that in how they view the war in Iran?
Well, first, Kelly, I would be remiss if I did not wish Kelly O'Donnell a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Right back at you, my friend.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I'm genetically required to be in
Pennsylvania. And,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, John. Go ahead. You're on the road trip here.
Okay, so I'm in Millersburg, Pennsylvania. The reason I'm here is it's a swing district, Pennsylvania's 10th district. In a swing state, President Trump won this district by about 5 points, but the local congressman...
Swing district. Trump only won this area by 5 points. Not a huge margin. Swing district. Oh, man. Listen close.
Scott Perry is in danger of losing in the midterms, and we wanted to talk to people about their feelings about gas prices, about the war. You mentioned Pennsylvania's average gas price about $3.76 a gallon right now. We went to like the cheapest place around, $3.54.9 a gallon here, and talked to folks. Better you hear from them than from me about how they're feeling.
Let's roll the tape.
The decision to strike Iran.
It was a great decision. I think somebody else should have done it a couple of years ago, the last 3 other presidents.
Are you willing to pay higher prices at the pump if that's the cost?
Yeah, I'm willing to pay a little more, yeah.
What do you think about the war?
I think he's doing the right thing. In the long run, it's going to help us out because if they get nuclear weapons, we might not even be here in a couple of years. So I think he's doing a good job.
Is it worth the rise in the price of gas?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
What do you think about the U.S. decision to go into Iran?
I think we got to do what we got to do to keep this country safe. So, and if it means paying a little bit more in gas right now to keep everybody safe, then that's what we got to do. And eventually they'll come back down.
And Kelly, most of the people we talked to were supportive of the war and willing to pay the higher gas prices for the war. Some of them because they believe in the goals of the war, others because they trust President Trump. But not everybody felt that way, and not everybody's excited about Trump here, and not everybody's planning to vote for Republicans in the midterms who supported Trump. Let's take a listen to one more woman who we spoke with. If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You are a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
So not everyone
lots of personality there, John. Lots of personality. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Not everyone's thrilled with him. That was a voter who voted for him 3 times. She went on to talk about the gas prices. She went on to talk about the war, about not supporting the idea of us in, basically going around the world. So a lot to process there. But this is going to be the real pressure test for President Trump and Republicans.
Oh, man. What do you know? Going to a swing district where I'm sure they thought, these guys probably aren't going to say anything nice about Trump. And lo and behold, they do. And they got one person. They got one person to say something crazy. One. Interesting. At a time where, you have a lot of, people who we thought were on the right coming out and completely bashing the right. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course. You got Tucker Carlson, of course. Excuse me. You got Nick. You got Megan. You've got a lot of different individuals. The Hodge twins. Got a lot of different individuals. Although I feel like a couple of them are like trolling, but I don't know. We'll see. But all at the same time, I find that quite interesting. All of these folks are coming out all at the same time, speaking out against the Republican Party at a time where the Republican Party is surging or should be surging. Now they come out and say all of this stuff. And once again, I'm not saying that we aren't allowed to disagree. I've disagreed with Trump, but also didn't make it that big of a deal because it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So when you take something and blow it up into this massive situation, like Byron Donalds said, when you're basically taking a grenade and throwing it in the room, walking out and locking the door behind you. That's almost what it feels like some of these folks are attempting to do, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh yeah, I'm out of the Republican Party. Mwah! Slam the door, walk out, deal with it. That's what it feels like. I also learned that, somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene is getting a check. Yeah. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Man, does the truth always come out later on down the road. A lot of people know Marjorie Taylor Greene as this loudmouth individual that was outspoken for the American people, and then all of a sudden she does this switch up in the last couple months and then abruptly just resigns. Makes you wonder why, right? Now it's being reported and found, and I confirmed myself on the FEC website that Marjorie Taylor Greene was receiving funds from the Maroo family. And if you're not familiar with the Maroo family, more specifically Sam Maroo, it's an individual here in the state of Texas who is a huge funder of the left. For example, this is part of his family, Hassan. Others in the Maroo family showing ActBlue, Ilhan Omar, and then Sam himself. And I ran it through a couple AIs just to verify, make sure, maybe I read something wrong. But then people are like, oh, it's only $7,000. Yeah, but it's $7,000 from an extremely blue individual. That in itself is a red flag, pun intended. Because not only would it explain her 180 there at the end, it would also explain her abrupt resignation out of nowhere. Oh, but her family was being threatened. Yeah, she's a congressional member. That happens to them literally every day. That's nothing new. But I knew there was something off about her, and this kind of points to the right direction for me. Does it explain the whole story? No, but it's starting to come into focus a little bit more.
A piece of that puzzle. And apparently, so-called influencers can be paid under the table. Yeah. I know some of you are like, Rich, is that what you would be considered? I guess, maybe a little bit, but ain't nobody sending me any checks. And if they are, shit, I missed them, send them again. Please do. Right? Because I've been accused of being paid. You're just getting paid by the Republican Party. Like, I wish. Trump, send me a check. What are you doing, son? Everybody out here getting paid except for me, it seems like. My goodness. Now, on a serious note, Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene themselves even confirmed this very thing. Check it out.
Israel is paying an influencer campaign $7,000 per post in some instances. But the people like Eric Swalwell and Adam Schiff who are clutching their pearls over foreign influence in U.S. elections and politics, are they going to be upset about the Israel paid influencer campaign?
I made 2 posts about this today.
I find it highly offensive as an American that social media influencers can get paid basically under the table and no one knows who is paying them and who is sponsoring them. So today I made 2 posts. I made one post calling for any social media influencer, if they are getting paid by a foreign country, that they have to register under FARA. And especially our MAGA influencers that are so-called America First, you know, the biggest message they need to hear is they're not America First if they're taking payments by a foreign government.
Yeah, so, Marjorie, I got a question to ask you. Who's paying you? That's my question. Who is sending you that check? Because it gotta be fat. It gotta be a fat check. A crazy thick check. You know? But I'm gonna end it on this note, because I think this is important to say, and obviously, as you guys saw there, for the most part, MAGA is still rocking with Trump. I saw one report where it was like 90-something% of MAGA still supports Trump 100%. And I'm going to end it with this note, this video clip, because this is exactly how I feel.
I voted for the first time in my life because of Donald Trump. That's the first election, presidential election, or any election I ever voted in. I didn't come off the schneid because of Tucker Carlson or Megyn Kelly or Mark Levin, for that matter, or people on the other side of this whole thing. I didn't get into this because of you. I got into it because of Trump. That's why I got into it. That's why I'm still here, is because of Trump. I support President Donald Trump. That's it. Does that mean I agree with every single thing that he does? No, because I'm not an idiot. But it's like these people think like, oh, wait a minute. What did they say? Oh, you're not supporting Trump anymore? Oh, I'm not supporting Trump either anymore then. But then you never did. You're just a man with a wet paper ass. So the feuding that's going on online is an impressions grab. It's a money grab. It's a free-for-all in that space, in that influencer space. That doesn't mean anything really anyway. It means something in the terms of monetizing all this stuff for these people. So that's all that's about.
Yeah, I think it's all about the Benjamins, baby. It's all about the Benjamins. You know, it's crazy to me to think that, you know, now all of a sudden this guy, right, Uncle Trump, we're just supposed to abandon the guy. Whatever happened to the saying, dance with the person that brought you there? Whatever happened to that? Because without Uncle Trump, this whole MAGA situation, it doesn't exist. Now, maybe something else close to it does. Who knows? But without him, this doesn't exist. Hell, maybe even without him, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world, the Tucker Carlsons of the world, the Nicks, the you know, and so on and so on. Maybe those folks don't exist either. And so now we're just supposed to abandon that guy to follow y'all? Nah, that's crazy work. You got to be smoking something real good if you think that's about to happen. We all just supposed to jump ship, leave Trump to go rock with y'all. Oh, they smoking something real good. Real good. A little too good. That's that. Woo. Nah. You crazy. You crazy. Dance with the person that brought you there. Simple. I'm going to leave it at that, y'all. I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Stay safe. Peace.